Hi, I'm Eric Siegel, and today we're going to be checking out the Premium Survival Kit from Polymath Products in the UK. In the previous video, we checked out the Polymath Mini Survival Tin, which was much smaller, and so I thought I would show you sort of their top-of-the-line survival kit. And this one's actually very good. Now, you can't get these in the US. I had to order this from the UK, and it took a couple weeks to get here, but I'm really glad I picked one up. This is what I would call a really good level 2 survival kit. I've said before that the 4 pillars of a good survival kit are fire, water, food, and shelter. So in a level 1 kit like the Mini Survival Tin, you'll usually get access to maybe 3 of those items. The ability to get some food with maybe some fishing tackle or a snare wire, the ability to purify some water, and the ability to make some fire. Well, this covers all 4 pillars. You get the ability to make fire, the ability to purify some water. They actually provide some food in the kit, and they also provide a shelter element. So unlike some of the smaller kits I've reviewed, with this one you could probably actually survive for several days. You know, it wouldn't be fun, it wouldn't be the lap of luxury, but you could probably survive for several days with the contents of this kit. So the kit arrived in this white cardboard box, and we'll open it up in just a second, but I did want to read the contents list. So we've got the mess tin with lid, an emergency bag, that's the shelter element, a micro LED flashlight, a glow stick, a compass necklace, a signal mirror, a fire starter and whistle unit, waxed jute, 20 pieces, that's for starting a fire, tinder, exogel stove gel, a stove, a candle, a Kindle mint cake, we'll talk more about that later, stock cube, hot chocolate, a wooden spatula, 3 meters of paracord, a sewing needle and thread, a clear Ziploc pouch, probably for storing water, 10 water purification tablets, rehydration treatment sachet, sterile dressing pad, fabric surgical tape, 2 alcohol swabs, a compressed towel, 2 waterproof pieces of notebook paper, a pencil, and an instruction sheet. All right, there it is. So this thing feels pretty hefty. Let's go ahead and see how much it weighs. I'll bring my trusty scales over here and get it turned on. And it weighs in at 1 pound 5 ounces. And for those of you who are on the old-fashioned metric system, that's 601 grams. I like this container a lot. It's all metal, it's very rugged, and these rubber clamps do a great job of holding the lid down very securely. Now, this case reminds me a lot of the Best Glide Ultimate Adventurer Survival Kits. I've actually got one of those on hand. Here it is. And you can see that the case is almost identical, if not identical. I'll be reviewing these in later videos, but I'm willing to bet that they get their cases from the same supplier, whoever that is. Now, I don't know who started using these cases first, Polymath or Best Glide, or maybe somebody else, but in any case, it's a great idea because you've got a very rugged metal case, you can store a lot inside of it, and then you've got this lid on top that is easy to remove and yet held down very well with these rubber clamps. Anyway, let's go ahead and crack this thing open. And of course, on top, we've got our Premium Survival Kit instructions. And it's got the kit contents on the back, and then, you know, inside it's got survival instructions and how to use various parts of the kit, like the stove and the whistle and so forth. It's pretty thorough. And on the front, it's got, if you're in a survival situation, stop. S-T-O-P. Stop, think, observe, and plan. So it's a nice little brochure. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it's nice that they have it there. And then moving on from there, we've got a large glow stick. This is nice. These are the kind that you crack and then they glow for maybe 8 hours or so. Not bad. And then we've got a candle over here in the corner. And then here is the compass necklace. So it's a little compass and some paracord attached to it, so you can put it around your neck. Not bad. Let me see if it's accurate. Okay, it's coming around. Yeah, okay, it's pointing correctly. So that's a fine compass. Right here we've got, this is the compressed towel. These are one of those towels that you put a little bit of water on and they expand out into a big towel. So you could use this as a towel, or you could use it as some tinder to make a fire, whichever you choose. Since there's some jute string in here, some wax-coated jute for making a fire, I would probably use this as a towel. That's just me. Then we've got one of the most important things in this kit. This is what makes this into a really good kit. You've got an emergency sleeping bag, a bivy sack. And this is the shelter element, and this is a big deal because, you know, shelter and being able to stay warm and dry is really one of the most important things in a survival situation. You know, a lot of people think that being able to make a fire is the most important thing. And yeah, that is important. A fire will keep you warm, but once you try to get some sleep, that fire is going to go out. And it's really not going to do a good job of keeping you warm throughout the night. And that's when an emergency sleeping bag really comes into play. This will keep you warm and dry throughout the night. It'll reflect the heat back in and really make a big difference in a survival situation. Then we've got one of those Polymath LED lights. There's a button so you can do some momentary action like that, or there's a switch to keep the light on constantly. And even though it's only one little LED, it's pretty bright, I must say. It's really not that bad. Then we've got our paracord. There's 3 meters of it. Up next, we've got our waxed jute twine, and we've got 20 pieces. And you would use this to make a fire. You get a piece of this and spread it out a little bit, and then you use the ferro rod and striker to get a fire going. So this is a really good thing to have in a kit. And speaking of fire, we've got our ferro rod striker whistle unit. So there's the ferro rod, and you can see I've already used it a little bit. And the way this works is that the striker pulls out the end, and then you use it to strike it to get some sparks to make a fire. So these are actually really good units. I like these a lot, and you'll see these make some really good sparks. Now kids, don't try this at home. It's not a good idea to use one of these ferro rods inside, but I just wanted to demonstrate how effective it is. It's very good. And then we've got the whistle on the other end, and it's very good. You could really get someone's attention with this whistle. Now we're getting into some of the food items of this kit, and there are 3 food items. So the first one is a Romney's chocolate-covered Kindle mint cake. The Kindle mint cake is not well known here in the US, at least not well known to me, but apparently it's pretty well known in the UK. From what I've read, it's popular with outdoorsy types, mountaineer, camper type people, and so it's not surprising that they would put one in a UK built kit. The closest thing I can compare the Kindle mint cake to that Americans would know would be a York peppermint patty. That's pretty much what it tastes like, except it's a little more firm, which is good because that means it won't get squished being in the kit. But yeah, so you got your Kindle mint cake, which is a quick source of sugar, gets you a little energy. Not a bad thing to have in a survival kit. Then we've got a bouillon cube, either beef or chicken, I'm not sure. I'm not going to open it up, probably chicken. And again, this is a great thing to have in a survival kit. You could eat it as is if you needed to, or if you've got some hot water, put it in there and you've got some broth, which is great to warm you up, get you some sodium, get you a little bit of a full feeling. Really nice thing to have in a survival kit. And then the third food item is this little bag of indulgent hot chocolate flavored drink. And another great thing to have in a kit. Gives you a little bit of energy, got some sugar, got some carbohydrates, a little bit of protein, a little bit of salt. Nice morale boost. Really nice that they put this in here. Moving on, we've got a sewing kit. Just your standard basic little sewing kit. Then we've got water purification tablets, and again, there's 10 of them, and each tablet will purify 1 liter of water. You put it in a liter of water and let it sit there for about 30 minutes, and you've got some water suitable for drinking. Now, in the instructions, it says that you need to have water that is relatively clear, so it recommends filtering the water through maybe some t-shirt material or something like that before you use these. But yeah, each one of these will purify 1 liter of water. And the instructions also say that if you use one of these tablets in a very small amount of water, it'll actually make the water sterile and suitable for treating wounds, which is pretty cool. But with 10 of these tablets, you could treat 10 liters of water. That's really good. And then right here, this is our stove fuel. It's a gel fuel, 50 milliliters. And we'll talk more about this when we look at the stove in just a minute. Up next, we've got what looks like a few first aid items. So we've got an extra absorbent dressing pad, 20 by 10 centimeters. Then we've got a couple of alcohol swabs. And then this is really cool. We've got this rehydration treatment sachet. What a great thing to have in a survival kit for replacement of lost fluids following acute diarrhea. Mix contents of 1 sachet with 200 milliliters or 7 fluid ounces of fresh drinking water and drink immediately. So I would imagine this has electrolytes and salt and so forth. Probably has a citrus flavor if I had to guess. That's pretty cool. Now the instructions also note that to help with rehydration, you could also use a drink made with that bouillon cube that contains salt, which again will help with rehydration. Here's our wooden spatula. Looks like a tongue depressor. You could probably use this for all sorts of things. And then down here is a pencil. Here is our signal mirror. There I am. Howdy. I think it's got a protective film on it to keep it from getting scratched up until you need it. And then we've got our stove. And this is one of those folding stoves like you find in a lot of MREs. I just got a Russian MRE not too long ago that had a folding stove not dissimilar to this one. There are instructions for using it in the instruction booklet that comes with the survival kit. Let's take a look at that. So here are the instructions for the stove. For heating cooking with the mess tin placed on top, fold the stove up prior to use as shown below. Squeeze the exogel, stove gel, onto the center plate and ignite. So basically you fold this up and put the tin on top. Whatever you're going to cook is going to go in the tin, or if you're going to boil water or what have you. And then the exogel goes in the center, you light it, it burns, and you boil your water or you cook your food. That's really cool. Here is our Ziploc baggie. And yeah, this is for carrying water. It's got a gusset on the bottom so it'll stand upright. Not bad at all. So when you purify that water, this is what you purify it in. Then we've got the 2 pieces of waterproof notebook paper. Nothing too fancy there. And then we've got our medical tape. There it is. So now the kit is empty and we're down to the tin, which is an integral part of the survival kit. Again, with the stove, you can use the tin to boil some water or cook some food or what have you. And of course, the lid is part of the kit as well. It does have a little gasket around it, but you could remove it and then use this as a frying pan or something like that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put everything back in the kit, but when I do, I'm going to, as I usually do, try to improve the kit by adding some stuff that I thought it might benefit from. So I'm going to try to add a razor knife because there is no cutting tool in the kit on its own. A couple feet of duct tape, a mini med kit that contains 6 ibuprofens, 2 Benadryls, and 2 Imodiums, a mini fishing kit that has some line, some hooks, some weights, and a lure and so forth, and then 2 regular Band-Aids and 1 large Band-Aid. Now, I don't know if all that'll fit in the kit. We'll see if there's room. Let's give it a try. All right. All got in there, and I think there was some room to spare. Go ahead and load that back in there. And there we go. So there you have it. That was the Polymath Products Premium Survival Kit. I think this is actually a really good kit, like I said. And in an emergency situation, unlike some of the smaller kits, I think you could actually survive for several days on a kit like this. Again, it wouldn't be luxurious, it wouldn't be fun, but I think you could do it. So anyway, that's about it for now. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm Eric Siegel, and I'll see you next time.